Hey everybody, this is Admiral Newkirk,
And this is an Acreon.
and we're going to be bringing you a PvZ, something somewhat unusual, just because I barely realized that as a Terran player, I very rarely cast a game without a Terran.
Yeah. And I don't like. No, I'm just kidding. I've a Terran.
So we're going to be seeing Protoss versus Zerg, one of the three possible non-Terran related matchups. And Protoss versus Protoss is worthless to cast, and Zerg versus Zerg is awesome to cast, but almost never happens. So instead we're going to be watching Spanishiwa. The great and terrible Spanishiwa versus Cruncher. Cruncher is a strong European Protoss player, while Spanishiwa is sort of been lightening it up lately. Spanishiwa is the Zerg version of Ayakoic.
Okay. For all of our viewers who are like me and are in bronze, who is Iacoic?
And who is Spanishiwa too? Ayakoic is sort of he's a non-pro, pseudo-pro sort of. He's very low-tier pro, who made a build that's very strong and very unique, and then that got featured on day 9 as a cool new style to play, and it became really popular for a little while, and then people learned how to counter it, and it sort of became a little bit less popular. It's now one of like 3 or 4 alternatives to the standard play in Terran versus Terran. And Spanishiwa has made a build where it's really late before you get your first gas. And so you'll notice he's expanding pre-pool on 12. Spanishiwa, he never gets gas. You notice he's getting his hatch on 14. And more importantly, he can defend a lot. He doesn't get speedlings, he just goes for unspeeded zerglings, a bunch of spine crawlers, and queens. And we're talking mass queens. And mass queens is awesome. I think max queens is sort of the way Zerg's going to become. You have 10 or 12 queens. Because they're really cheap and they're really good.
Is there some like thing about pulling all your drones off when there's somebody's probe scouting?
I mean, if somebody's probe is in there, you can do a really quick surround and attack move, and it'll kill it, and they can't get through unless they're really shifty and they click on the minerals. But it's just kind of personal preference. So you'll see Spanishiwa here. He's going to get, generally he gets his third before he gets his gas, which can leave him vulnerable to a couple of things. What I was saying before about Iacoic's build was really popular for a little while and really good, and then people figured out how to counter it. You went siege tank, or you didn't go siege tank. Siege tank got killed by Banshee so hard. You went Thor, Viking, Marauder, and you just got as many starports as your opponent, and you just out starported them, because as long as you had air control, they couldn't kill you, because Hellions just couldn't kill you. So if you had 3 or 4 Thors, as many Vikings as you could push out, and then any extra money dumped into like Marauders,
right,
you could beat it. And so Spanishiwa has a same sort of distinctive style that just got some exposure, but no one's really figured out how to beat it yet. He beat TLO in a show match series, and when he's actually like being his professional self, he does a lot of cheeses. He's really good at cheese. For example, in one, TLO was about to wall off, and so he put down a hatch, then canceled the hatchery, and then used the creep to put down what do you call it? The Zerg upgrade building.
No, the drone, what happened to it? Is it alive?
Yeah. What's the Zerg upgrade building
Why did he kill it? I don't understand.
Because he wants to go out and start the pressure. What's the Zerg upgrade building called?
It's, what do you mean? Oh, Evolution Chamber.
Yeah, so TLO was about to finish his wall off. He put down a hatch there, canceled it, used the creep to build an Evolution Chamber, which completely messed up his wall off, and then he could just walt Zerglings in.
Huh.
So he has some smart cheeses to him. I think he's a little bit of an overrated player, but so far no one's been able to figure out how to beat his style, just because with enough queens, they can hold so much. And then he has a bunch of drones really, really fast. So I don't think it's pressure. What I think it might be, I think it might be going for tech, so going for crazy tech, like maybe going for a battlecruiser rush could actually work. Just not going for any consistent pressure openings, just going for a crazy uber high-tech opening. I think that's the way to go. And we're seeing a 4-gate happening. That's what this is. And the drone is putting down the pylon. And you'll notice the weakness of this is you don't really have that much mobility as a Zerg even.
Right.
It appears that he's preparing for the 4-gate down here. And, I mean, 4-gates are super boring, but we're just going to watch Spanishiwa be his Spanishiwa self. 4 Zealots coming in, good choice, because Zealots are hardy, and therefore they could hold this spot indefinitely, and if you can, or not indefinitely, but very well, and if you can hold this area, then you can so easily warp in. We are seeing Spanishiwa on just a little bit of duress, or distress, pardon. Here, you're under duress, but you are being in distress. But he's doing the smart thing, which is moving his spine crawlers. Because he had spine crawlers, Kirill. And really, if I were Cruncher, right now I'd be focusing down the... Oh no, Cruncher's actually doing the smart thing. He's getting his stuff into a position where it can be stronger. But he has abandoned this spot, which means warping in stuff isn't going to be particularly efficient. But at the same time, Cruncher is going to start pushing the front as well, splitting his opponent's attention and resources. 4 Stalkers coming in down here to defend the pylon. Cruncher is going for the 4 gates to 4 gates, as can be seen here. He has 27 Harvesters, which if he gets 3 more, he has the perfect efficiency. And we are seeing some actually epic battle going on. But look at this. This is a lot of queens, and he is still getting queens, even though he's in a big old battle. And this is generally the difference between a pro and an amateur, is pros remember to get stuff in battles, while amateurs like me, I suck at this. I'm good at macro most of the time, but then my mechanics break down when I am in a big battle, and so I forget to do things like build supply depots, so I need to work on that. But he has enough queens now where he can essentially transfuse as much as he needs. And Cruncher's realizing that killing this isn't going to be all that easy. And so therefore, he's probably going to be putting down an expansion very soon. But, yes, so there are enough queens here and enough spine crawlers where really Spanishiwa should be able to hold. Just because spine crawlers are, in my opinion, the best ground static that's not a planetary fortress.
Oh look, gas.
Yes, and now Spanishiwa is getting his gas, because at this point he's slightly contained, and therefore generally the Spanishiwa style is you get your 3rd, then you get your gas, but now he's contained, and therefore he must get his gas before 3rd. And he's going to kill the pylon now. There he is. He's going to kill the site that the pylon is granting, I guess, if that made sense. But see, I don't actually think it's enough Zealots to hold, and the Zealots hold everything really, really well. Yeah, there's not enough Zealots to hold.
We cannot hold.
Nice, nice. And what about the particle disruptors? That's not that great of a name. I know that Zealots have an attack called Side Blades. What are Zergling's attacks called?
Claws.
So
what else?
Oh no, the marine attack is awesome. And then the
I call them little piercy things that come out of their backs. It looks like, doesn't it? Doesn't it look like they're coming out of their backs? Yeah.
Yeah, I think they are actually.
Yeah.
We pause and just look at his Zergling.
I don't know.
That queen will not go down. He'll transfuse it in time.
Yay, micro at a pro level.
But meanwhile, Cruncher is getting up his expansion. And Spanishiwa has done his Spanishiwa thing and taken the 3rd hatchery. Because he has so many queens. I mean, look at that. That is more than enough queens to deal. Oh, Dark Templar's coming down. I like this. This is fun.
What does
What is a moderate weakness of Spanishiwa's build? It doesn't get detection that fast.
Right. Although he does have a hedge going up, so that's one thing.
He does have a layer, you mean.
A layer, oh, whoops.
And we're going to see the pro level...
I know my stuff, because I play Zerg.
We are going to see the pro level mechanics, probably. Oh, wow, he really is skipping on detection. And this is an interesting point. If I were Cruncher, what I would do is I would go for all the queens. Like, I mean, going for a hatch is an okay choice. And now we're seeing all these overlords being morphed to overseers. Like, I would go for the queens, because I think the queens are the cornerstone. Because they're not going to be able to kill this hatch, because there are so many queens. And so go for something tangible that really will cost your opponent money in the queens themselves. And DTs, even when they're detected, kill stuff insanely fast.
They're also pretty fast runners. I never noticed that.
They're the 2nd fastest Protoss ground unit.
Fastest being
Stalkers.
Oh yeah, dirt.
Fastest being Stalkers, and then they're actually tied with Colossi for the 2nd fastest.
Ah.
That was just kind of killing Zerglings, which doesn't seem like the best use of his time. Now, one smart thing he did was he got enough Overseers.
Hey, hold on, can we get back a couple seconds? Just look at that thing again. Was he attacking the larva?
I guess so. I wanted to check its kill count. Now, Cruncher has not gotten an upgrade. He is going for the Crylogique style ornamental forge. just for one cannon. And Spanishiwa is getting his upgrades, so Spanishiwa is a good boy. And look at that. That is so much fun. Well, what's that, Tom?
Oh, it's a Nidus worm.
That's a Nidus worm. Why, things have just gotten slightly interesting.
It eats up all their units and then craps them out somewhere else, which is highly unpleasant, but it's also really cool.
I mean, in my opinion, Nidus worms are really underused, because it's instant transport of any amount of units anywhere across the map.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my favorite thing to do in free-for-alls on Old Lost Temple was to Nidus worm the high ground and then build spine crawlers.
Which isn't as useful as it sounds.
What do you mean?
Well, I tried it once, and maybe this is because I'm a bronze player, but hey. But then, like, they didn't really attack anything.
Were they right up on the edge?
They were as close to the edge as I could get them.
Do they have vision?
Yeah.
Maybe it's just the range of the spine crawler.
Mm-hmm.
And the only another problem was that if you can't get the spine crawlers out, then it doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
And we are seeing a Nidus worm come down now. This is shame on Cruncher for not having vision of this side of his base. He really
why didn't he notice the Overseer?
He did notice the Overseer, but he didn't think a Nidus worm was coming. You really should. I'm a victim of this too. I don't want people to think that I'm better than any player I criticize. I don't put enough buildings on the outskirts of my base, and because of that, I get burned a lot. And I do like that he's keeping...
And he's building another Nidus worm to further his creep.
Yep, that's really clever. And Spanishiwa has a moderate amount of gas, but he's not investing for gas-heavy units. He's going for Zergland. And therefore, he can put down as many Nidus worms as he wants. And Cruncher's just kind of like...
Well, now what?
Well, this sucks. There's a ton of queens in my base. Who are now spreading creep, preventing me...
What's if the queens? What's if the Zerglings?
And so Cruncher decides, F it, I'll expand. And more Overseers coming over to be their Overseer himself. If I were Cruncher... Oh, right. All of Cruncher's production is dead. But Cruncher is going for the Death Ball of Stalker, Colossus, Void Ray. And now all these queens are off creep, which may be a little...